Friends, this is Harjinder Gill show, and today we have our Honourable Minister Ahmed Hussen, who's Canada's Minister of Families, Children and Social Development, and he's with us to discuss some major highlights of Canada's budget 2021. Minister, welcome to the Harjinder Gill show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's start with your opening remarks about the COVID-19 situation in Canada at this present time.
Well, I understand, of course, that Canadians continue to deal with the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, we are doing everything that we can to continue to support Canadians. We've been supporting Canadian businesses, Canadian workers, families, seniors, non-profit sector. But we're continuing to do that through Budget 2021. So if you see, for example, under Budget 2021, we propose to extend the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy from, it was set to expire in June. It's going to be extended to September. The same with the Canada Recovery Benefit and the Canada Emergency Rent Subsidy, and so on. And we're continuing to support all of those people. On top of that, we propose to increase the old age security payments for seniors who are over the age of 75, starting next year. And then this year, we'll be providing them with a one-time payment of $500. There is significant supports for youth, $5.7 billion to provide them with more jobs, more training, and a doubling of the Canada Student Grant from $3,000 to $6,000. And the big piece in the budget 2021 is a $30 billion investment for the next 5 years in building a Canada-wide system of early learning and childcare that will combine affordability, accessibility, high quality, and inclusivity. So we intend to bring down the fee for childcare on average down by 50% by the end of next year, and bringing it down even more to an average of $10 a day in childcare fees by 2025-2026. So it's very ambitious, and we intend to do this with pride.
So, Minister, we'll talk about these ambitions one by one, and let's begin with additional support for Ontario, specifically to fight the COVID-19 outbreak. How would it be beneficial for families and society?
With respect to early learning and childcare, we hope that Ontario, of course, joins us in building this Canada-wide system. We know that there's many children who are on wait lists in Ontario for affordable childcare, and we want to make sure that no child is left behind. That's why we're putting significant federal dollars on the table, and we're doing that over a long period of time to make sure that we can partner with Ontario and all the other provinces and territories to build this system. There's also thousands of women with children in Ontario who are being held back from working because of a lack of affordable childcare. So we want to, of course, also give those women an opportunity to work by giving them an opportunity to access affordable childcare. So this will be good, of course, for the economy in Ontario, and it will be good for Ontario children, for all of them to have access to high quality and affordable childcare and early learning opportunities.
And what are the main calculations behind this $10 a day childcare within the next 5 years? Any reason why it's $10 only?
Yes, because right now parents right across the country are facing very high childcare fees, and they need relief from those high childcare fees. So we are responding to help them, but we are also increasing the number of spaces. We want to work with provinces and territories to increase the spaces. We want to work with provinces and territories to train more teachers and make sure that there's more teachers in the system. So this is about building a Canada-wide system that delivers those savings to parents, but also makes sure that we're keeping the quality high and we're giving more opportunities to every child in Canada so that no child is left behind.
So you have covered about families and children. Now, what is in it for social development?
We are investing $50 million in the Investment Readiness Program and $220 million in the next 2 years in the Social Finance Fund to support social enterprises. These are non-profit organizations and charitable organizations that use business approach to generate income and money to then invest in solving complex social problems. And that is what we're doing with respect to social development. Of course, more investments in affordable housing, more investments to tackle homelessness, more investments to reduce poverty and so on. So there's a lot we're doing, and it's all related between children, families, and social development.
Okay, so due to this COVID-19 situation, our society is going through a number of mental health issues. What is in this budget for mental health and wellness?
Yes, there is. There is an investment collectively. There's investments in mental health supports for Canadians in different ministries and different programs, but collectively, it is a cumulative amount of $900 million in funding for mental health approaches.
Okay, and how about the small businesses? Do you have any special considerations in this budget for the well-being of small businesses?
Well, there's no question that small businesses have been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah. But we're doing everything that we can to help them. So we know that we moved quickly to establish the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, which is helping so many businesses to remain in place and to continue to operate because it helps them. Our government is helping those businesses to pay the wages of their employees. We are also extending the Canada Emergency Rent Subsidy. We're extending the Canada Emergency Business Account and other supports. And also we're targeting additional supports to certain sectors of the economy, especially the arts sector, the sports sector, the heritage sector, the tourism sector. So there's a lot we're doing, and of course, I recognize the challenges, but we have been very clear that we are supporting those small businesses, and we'll continue to support them for as long as it takes.
Right. Minister, at this tough time, our ethnic media is playing a vital role to make people aware. So is there anything special to support ethnic media in this budget?
I believe that that there is the opportunity for supports. We are establishing a $300 million fund to support culture, arts, and heritage and sports. And I think through that, ethnic and community media may be able to obtain some funding.
Okay, so what about investing in young Canadians? The government of Canada intends to invest $5.7 billion over 5 years. So can we have more details about that?
Yeah, absolutely, because we know that young people have been really impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and so we are rolling forward we are proposing measures to help them. $5.7 billion investment to double, for example, the Canada Student Grant from $3,000 to $6,000. That will help 580,000 low-income students. We are proposing to create more jobs for young people, 215,000 jobs for young people. We're proposing to invest more money to ensure that they have placements, to ensure that they have job training, skills development, and more money invested to create more Canada Summer Jobs positions for the next 2 years. So we're doing everything that we can to support youth for now and into the future.
Okay, so what is in there for a safe and dignified retirement for Canadian seniors?
As you know, we're the government that has shored up the Canada Pension Plan, and we moved the age of eligibility from 67 back to 65 so that seniors can have access to their hard-earned money. But we also, through Budget 2021, keeping our promise to make sure that we're providing 10% more payments through the old age security for seniors over the age of 75. So we're doing that. We're keeping that promise, and those payments will start next year. And this year, what we're doing is providing a one-time payment of $500 to those seniors.
Right. So Minister, let's talk about affordable housing. In some specific pockets, the Canadian real estate market was crazily high in the last year or so, and people are afraid that will it be affordable for the new generation or the newcomers to buy their own homes in coming years?
First of all, newcomers are one of the groups targeted by the National Housing Strategy. And our National Housing Strategy started off in 2017 as a $40 billion program. Now that program is up to $72.5 billion program. And this budget 2021 is providing additional dollars to provide more affordable housing solutions. This includes $1.5 billion for the Rapid Housing Initiative. We also propose to invest more money to build more affordable housing through the National Housing Co-Investment Fund, to repair 13,700 units, to introduce more money, $315 million more for the Canada Housing Benefit, which is targeted towards women and children fleeing domestic violence. And starting in January next year, we propose to impose a 1% tax on non-Canadian, non-resident owned real estate that is vacant or underused. So if you are a non-Canadian and you are non-resident in Canada and you own real estate that is vacant or underused, we will charge you 1% tax of the value of the home every year. And those non-resident, non-Canadians will have to report on the status of their property every single year, and if they don't do that, they will face penalties. So that measure will raise $700 million every year, and we intend to take that $700 million and invest it right back into Canadians for affordable housing.
Right. Is there any sort of planning to control the pricing in the housing market?
We are very aware of the increasing volatility in the housing market and the increase in prices accompanying the last 2 years and prior to that, but even more so the last 2 years. So we're keeping a close eye on that, and we are seeing some of the things that we can do to help Canadians. That is why, for example, we're extending and improving and extending access to the first-time homebuyer incentive for people who live in the Greater Toronto area, Greater Vancouver area, and Victoria, and some of those highly priced markets. We want to make sure that the first-time homebuyer incentive works for them as well. So we're doing a lot in that regard, and you'll be hearing more regarding that. But also this 1% tax will also help deal with some of those impacts, and we'll continue to monitor these developments and see what else we can do.
Mr. Thank you so much for your time for our listeners, and we'll have your closing remarks, please.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me on your show, and I just want to say that this budget is about supporting Canadians, supporting communities, investing in people. We have to do that, because if we don't invest in people, if we don't invest in communities now, our recovery will take longer, and it'll be more painful for Canadians. We saw what happened in 2008 after the last recession, where the previous government, the Harper Conservatives, did not invest in Canadians. They didn't invest in the nonprofit sector. They didn't invest in communities, and the recovery from the recession took longer. It was more painful, and it was slower, and we don't want to make that mistake. That is why we're investing in Canadians now. We're investing in communities, and we'll continue to do that. And we know that COVID will not be with us forever.
Right.
That we'll defeat COVID together, and as more and more people get vaccinated, we'll reopen the economy. And hopefully, with the measures that we have in place, I'm very sure that Canadians will work with us to ensure a very strong economic recovery.
Okay, actually, the Ontario government was blaming federal government that Ontario is not getting enough supply on time, and there was a big concern about the rollout.
Well, we have so far delivered over 14 million vaccines to provinces and territories, including Ontario. By end of June, we will have delivered 50 million vaccines to Canadian provinces and territories. So, we've been there for Canadians, and we'll continue to be there. And every Canadian who wishes to be vaccinated will be vaccinated by the end of the summer. I'm very confident of that.
Okay, and do you think the economy and people will gain confidence once everyone is vaccinated?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, then obviously we will be able to recover and reopen slowly but surely and more safely. So I am pretty sure that COVID will not be with us forever.
Right.
We will defeat COVID together.
Anything about the lockdowns in different provinces? How the federal government?
That's up to provincial government and provincial governments, and I know that they rely on public health advice to make those decisions. So I will defer to those public health officials.
Minister, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
So friends, this was Honourable Minister Ahmed Hussen, Canada's Minister of Families, Children and Social Development.
For all our latest updates, please subscribe G Media Group YouTube channel and press the bell icon.